If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. We're in the later portions of June, early portions of July, and it's time to harvest our garlic here in Zone 5A. We planted this garlic second week in October of last year. That's typically the time frame in which we plant our garlic. Garlic can be planted in the spring, however, it needs the chill hours or the cold hours in order to properly grow. We've tried to do it in the spring, and we've gotten bulbs half the size of what we're going to dig up today. So we've got two beds. We've got this bed here, and then we've got in a raised bed, and then we've got some in the back garden in the traditional ground. Now the varieties in which we grow are Spanish Roja, German Hardy, Purple Glazer, and there's a handful of other ones. We don't specifically make a row and save certain ones. We just save the biggest bulbs from this harvest, and we'll plant them this fall, which will give us the best opportunity to have large cloves again, because big bulbs will have large cloves, which is what we'll plant to get large bulbs again. All right, best tool to use is a garden fork, hard tine garden fork. If you attempt to pull these plants out without loosening the soil, you will dislodge the stalk from the bulb, and you're gonna have to dig it out anyway. And there's an important procedure why we wanna leave everything intact. And when we planted these, we planted them about 2 to 4 inches deep. So they're down there pretty good. So we're just gonna get down here and loosen the soil up. Oh, it's really, all right. That is a decent size bulb there. Now the indication, this is hardneck. So this is where the scape once was, and if left alone, it would have curled out and put a flower on and removed energy that would be devoted for bulb development for seed production. So we cut that off about 3 weeks ago. And as it goes, we wait about 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. You can see the lower leaf there has died. This leaf here is yellowing, so that's indication it's ready to harvest. You may think, well, I'll just leave it in the ground and harvest it when I need it. If you have a wet situation, these bulbs can begin to mold and rot, so keep that in mind. We want to remove everything at the time of planting, and then we can put something in this spot for fall if you so choose to. So let's see, this is a smaller top. Let's see if that results. Yeah, a little smaller bulb, not much. So you can see the comparison here. A little smaller on your right side there. And so I'm gonna harvest these, we'll line them up, we'll see what we've got, and then we'll go back and compare them to the ones we harvest out of the ground. So we've harvested this garlic here. We've had some very large bulbs, and this was in a bed that was planted in October last year. They're really not watered. We're in late June, early July now. So this is a very nice size garlic. Now let's go to the back end of the garden where we're going to harvest the garlic that was in the ground. We'll compare the two.
Okay, so we've headed down to the low end of the garden. A little audio problem, so you're going to get it this way. That's a scape. If left uncut, that will get very tall, produce seeds, and you could plant the seeds, but it is recommended to simply divide the bulb, the largest bulb that would contain and get the largest clove to plant in the fall and harvest it in the spring. These here are on the back end of the garden. There's no irrigation. This is the second year we've planted garlic in this area. Very dry, but the garlic has seemed to do very well. We will not plant garlic again in this location for the third year. At least at this point, we won't unless we decide some crazy thoughts and try it again. Here's one that was side by side. I don't know if the bulb split and divided, because I would never have planted two pieces of garlic right next to one another, but that's what we got there. So again, you want to use a garden fork. You don't want to pull these up to disconnect the stalk from the bulb. And most of these are fairly decent. We have had years past, I think it was 2018, where we had garlic bulbs that we had 30 or 40 of them that was the size of peas that you would pop out of a pod. They were just horrible based on the growing conditions, the soil nutrients, everything was just really bad. So that is the harvest there. And the bulbs did not turn out as bad as one may think. We had some very large ones. We had a couple of small ones. But overall, they're good garlic bulbs. And you can use these right now in the kitchen. Otherwise, we can cure them and keep them inside in a climatized environment out of direct sunlight and get them to dry, and they will keep for 6 to 8 months. So garlic, if you've never grown it before, it's a very easy crop to grow. You plant it in October in zone 5 here. Your mileage may vary based on where you're at, and then we harvest it late June, early July. So a very successful garlic harvest that we have had here in our garden, and it's one of the staples that we always grow. Very easy to do, and it is the comparison to store-bought garlic compared to homegrown garlic is non-comparable. If you use homegrown garlic, you use a quarter less than what you would in the store. Now, in order to cure it, people will hang it in the eaves of their garage, shed, or porch or attic and let it dry. We set it in a Rubbermaid container, or in this instance, this bag, and keep it vertical. Over the course of 2 to 4 weeks, the gravity in the stalk will pull juices down into the bulb and will intensify the flavor. We will check on this relatively every couple of days to make sure there's no mold, make sure there's plenty of air circulation, and then after they've dried, you can cut the tops off and the roots off and store them for about 6 to 8 months. So you don't have to tie them up in a bundle and hang them in a shed or anything like that. We have found this works quite well. You're just waiting for all the tops to dry off, and you want to keep them vertical, keep the air circulation around them, so you can get the drying, the garlic to dry the way you want it to, so it's not moldy and rotten. So garlic growing, really easy to do, and this is a way that we found to cure it. You can use it right now. That's not a problem. So thanks for watching. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.